Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, November 20th. From the San Antonio Express News, my name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. You can expect intermittent clouds and a high of 82 degrees in San Antonio today. This weekend, expect highs to top out at about 80. There are also chances for much-needed rain. The stalled $450 million Alamo makeover project, already floundering, is under renewed fire from Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolff. Even downtown business owners are putting on pressure. We have everything you need to know about that at expressnews.com. H-E-B is giving away 10,000 goodie bags filled with holiday treats from 3 to 6 p.m. today at 4 San Antonio locations. The free holiday bags will be distributed drive-thru style at the parking lot of the 4 stores. And now let's move on to our top stories for the day. Every weekend, Hotel Valencia Riverwalk turns over its courtyard to tango. 2 dancers perform one of Argentina's greatest artistic exports 2 hours a night, Friday through Sunday, in front of onlookers seated nearby and guests lounging on the patios of their rooms. The performance is one of Hotel Valencia's answers to the COVID-19 pandemic, which has slowed San Antonio's visitors industry to a crawl. The idea is to lure locals and in-state visitors to the hotel with the sensual powers of tango. Guests stay at least 6 feet from one another, of course. The nightly performances are unique, but the hotel's efforts to bring new guests isn't. Randy Diamond explores the ways local hotels are trying new things to keep rooms full. The Air Force said Thursday that San Antonio had made its short list for cities competing to be the new home of the United States Space Command's headquarters. The Alamo City was among 6 cities on the list and was the only Texas site to make the list. The command headquarters will have roughly 1,400 military and civilian personnel assigned to it. Some 50 communities were evaluated before the cut was reduced to 6, according to the Air Force on Thursday. It expects to make a final decision early next year. When a small San Antonio delegation went to Washington for a day of meetings with top Pentagon leaders last month, the Air Force brass expressed interest in the city's quality of life for their airmen. For more on the U.S. Space Command, read the latest from Sig Christensen and Greg Jefferson. When the leaders and members of Boy Scout Troop 345 discovered their 12-foot trailer packed with camping equipment had been stolen from a church parking lot, emotions ran the gamut. Boy Scouting values run deep, and the group is turning the experience into a positive life lesson. We'll have to do some fundraising and try to get another trailer, Scoutman Brett Ward said. It might not come tomorrow, but that's life. We need to help each other out. That's what we're trying to teach the boys. It's about building character. Vincent T. Davis explains how they're moving forward. Diego Bernal spoke for parents and teachers this week. In a letter to Texas Education Agency Commissioner Mike Morath, the San Antonio lawmaker spelled out the reasons why the annual STAR exam should be canceled this academic year, writes Gilbert Garcia. Parents, teachers, students, and education advocacy groups are united in their antipathy for the STAR, and it's not because they all hate accountability. It's because of an out-of-control obsession with accountability poisons the classroom learning environment, which has enough other challenges in 21st century America. You can read Gilbert Garcia's full column over at expressnews.com. The number of people hospitalized with the COVID-19 virus reached 440, 5 more than on Wednesday. COVID hospitalizations have more than doubled over the past month, mirroring the patterns across Texas. We're tracking the virus in San Antonio and the state with some interactive charts, which you can find over at expressnews.com. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside of your Express News subscription. The University of Texas at San Antonio on Thursday launched a $111 million research institute whose task is to protect U.S. manufacturers from cyber attacks. It's the latest effort by UTSA to capitalize on the swiftly growing cybersecurity industry in San Antonio. The State Board of Education is inching closer to approving new sex education standards for the first time since the late 90s, giving initial approval to a curriculum that expands contraceptive education in middle school, but declined to acknowledge LGBTQ individuals or define consensual sexual activity. Staying home is the best way to help stop the rampant spread of COVID-19, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. San Antonio-based USAA is donating another $5 million to various nonprofit organizations, including 7 in San Antonio, for pandemic-related support. Governor Greg Abbott traveled to Lubbock on Thursday to tout a newly approved coronavirus treatment, without saying how many doses are available or announcing any new restrictions to slow the virus spread as infections continue to surge. A multi-county vehicle chase involving suspected undocumented immigrants ended in a crash Thursday at a Southwest Bexar County gas station. Officials found 7 adult men inside of the truck. They were detained for immigration officials. San Antonio investor Sardar Biglari's 5th proxy fight with Cracker Barrel Old Country Store Incorporated has ended just like the previous 4, in defeat. Former USAA CEO and President Stuart Parker, who retired from the San Antonio Insurance and Financial Services Company in January, has joined a rival insurer's board. Texas A&M researchers and a Dallas artificial intelligence company are developing a rapid COVID-19 test that will use a breathalyzer rather than a swab and potentially make it safer to hold large gatherings. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals has barred Nico LaHood, but not other members of his law firm, from representing a defendant that he had prosecuted while serving as district attorney. U.S. Representative Dan Crenshaw is warning against President Donald Trump's plan for a troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. Trump is reportedly considering pulling as many as 2,000 of the remaining 4,500 to 5,000 U.S. soldiers remaining in Afghanistan. The Express News editorial board writes, quote, "The South San Antonio Independent School District must break free of the board dysfunction, holding back its progress, and let its superintendent do his job." You can read the full editorial over at expressnews.com. As the coronavirus pandemic spread this year, Joseph Lassen presented fellow San Antonio attorney Enrique Serna with a business opportunity. The business arrangement, though, has unraveled, with Happy Healthcare claiming in a federal lawsuit it was stiffed on more than $3 million worth of masks and double-crossed by the parties it was doing business with. Patrick Danner has more on the legal spat and how it sheds light on the murky world of mask middlemen. In the era of COVID-19, nothing is normal, and that goes for Thanksgiving as well. With fewer of us gathering for safety, meals will be smaller too. So why not skip the big bird and focus on what you love most about the meal anyway? The comforting carbs that are mashed potatoes. We have 5 global mashed potato dishes to star in a 2020 Thanksgiving meal over at expressnews.com. The unlikely mid-pandemic wave of restaurant openings includes Botero Tapas and Wine Bar, Las Guitarras Cocina Mexicana, and Richter Tavern in the Texas Hill Country. We have everything you need to know about these new spots in Boerne over on our website. Paulina Chavez totally gets why Christmas television makes the holidays a little brighter. Now, the San Antonio actress has her own Yuletide programming to light up the small screen, with Latino culture to boot. Head over to expressnews.com to read Renee Guzman's latest article. Calvin Finch explains why primrose, stock, sweet peas, and pansies are just some of the great choices this winter for a pop of floral color, while Neil Sperry answers readers' questions about burls on trees and more in his down-to-earth column. The selections of Devin Vassell and Trey Jones in Wednesday's draft were meant to help bolster the Spurs' defensive profile. But the work of reconstructing the Spurs is just beginning, with free agency opening tonight. Our Spurs writer discussed the draft and free agency in the latest Spurs Insider podcast. And you can test your Spurs knowledge with this draft quiz over at expressnews.com. And that's all for today. This was your Express Briefing for Friday, November 20th. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside of your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.